Welcome to Business Talk with Megan McNulty, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of business success and reveals the strategies, insights, and stories that drive these professionals to thrive in the ever-evolving world of business. Whether you're an established entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or simply fascinated by the world of commerce, this podcast is your front row seat to learn from the best. Each episode, Megan will bring you engaging interviews with professionals from diverse industries who will share their triumphs, lessons learned, and the insights they've gained along the way.
Hi everyone! I am so excited today to go on my very dear friend's podcast, Megan McNulty. She has a podcast called Business Talk, and I'm going to bring her on right now. She is an asset protection attorney, among many things, but I will let her. Excited to have this conversation about all things business and what both of us are doing and have our hands in right now. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I've never done Instagram Live, so this is amazing.
I know. Isn't it easy? I feel like it just makes it so much easier.
So much easier. It's
right?
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for introducing this to me.
Well,
I'm excited to share with everybody listening what you've been up to and ask you some questions. So thank you for letting me interview you today.
It's my pleasure. I'm excited.
Should we get started on how you became an entrepreneur? And
but first, I want you to introduce yourself. I introduced you a little bit, but I don't think I did it justice. So let everyone know what you're doing beyond being an attorney. And
yeah. So I have a podcast called Business Talk with Megan McNulty, and I've been interviewing experts on different topics as well as business owners for about 30 minutes, and basically just trying to find out how they started, how they became a business owner, what's their expertise, and trying to see if they can help anyone else listening. So I've known Kimberly for a long time, and she's quite the entrepreneur and has a wonderful company called Flourish, which I want her to talk to us about today and let us know how you got started with that. And then also you do luxury travel as well. So love to hear about that too.
Yeah, sure. Happy to.
So I guess let's start with, how did you decide to start your own company?
Yeah, so honestly, the idea with Flourish started a very long time ago. I had 4 kids. I got married really young, and I had 4 kids in 5 years through my 20s. And it was during that time when I was trying to, I really feel like my specific journey, I was thrown into it pretty quickly and pretty young, having, a mortgage and children and a relationship and all these things, finances, I was trying to manage. And I thought to myself, where was a class on this? Why wasn't this something, managing this, the kind of concrete things like how to run a budget or mothering or health and nutrition, those core things, but also abstract things like how do you navigate the challenges we're all going to face? How do you create this mutually supportive relationship? How do you navigate motherhood? And all of those things. And I thought to myself, I'm kind of a natural information gatherer. And so I started to gather this information to teach myself. And I realized it fell into a limited number of buckets. And at that time, I gathered physical things and filed it in my desk drawer and called it Kim's Life Skills Class.
Oh.
And I had no idea what it was. I had no idea at the time, podcasts really hadn't even started. But I just knew, if I were to do a class on what we really need to know in order to successfully adult, this is what I think I would put in it. And it sat there, though, for 10 years. So fast forward, I went through my own crisis moment when I became single and had to completely start over in what I wanted to do as a career and how to, very quickly, I was asking myself the questions, how do I manage the reality and responsibility that is my life. And I launched into travel actually at that time. And really, how do you navigate hardship? How do you get back up from like a really significant crisis or significant setback? And what are the tools to get there? So that's when I really started to do this deep dive, the beginning on resilience and kind of a navigation of these hardships. So I pitched myself into my very first travel job, and where I was selling corporate travel actually, and was in that area for about 4 years or so. And then the pandemic hit, and I got laid off because there was no more business travel to sell. And that's when I
Okay.
just really, really saw it as my opportunity. I'm like, this whisper of Kim's life skills class or whatever it was still speaking to me that entire time, but I just had no bandwidth to really do anything about it. And now I did. All of a sudden the world shut down and I did. So as I began to dive into it, all of a sudden the connection between the health and wellness of employees and the profitability of a company, and I really started to see that connection. So I created the content in the spring of 2020. By summer, I ran 2 rounds of beta. I decided to take it to market in the fall of 2020 as sort of this answer to how do we navigate uncertainty? How do we help our employees through this really challenging and scary time? And I decided to take it to market there versus becoming a coach or an individual coach that way, because I thought it was the fastest. I mean, from a business standpoint, I thought it was the fastest way to market, and I thought there was a real hole in the market in talking about things. And yeah, by the time we wrapped around into spring, I did corporate and started into school districts, and then expanded into CPA firms and hospitality, and that's how it started.
Amazing. So I love it that it's like life skills, right? They don't really teach you life skills in school anymore.
Yeah, and really they teach you this idea of, they teach you what to think. This is what to think, and not really how to think. And really so much of navigating adversity and building a successful adult life is mindset training, is training your mind to think in a different way, in a more resilient way.
So if you could pinpoint exactly what Flourish aims to do for business owners, what would you say? What would you say your business aims to solve for business owners? Let me rephrase it that way.
Yeah, we want to increase engagement and culture in order to give them an increase in productivity and profitability. So we come in, really, it's not, management training or sales training or leadership training, which is a lot of what the kind of professional development training is when companies bring someone in. But ours is definitely focused on the individual, because if we can get each individual healthier and better off, and give them tools on how to manage the hardships that are going on in their personal lives, they're going to be able to show up and be more productive at work and more engaged. What that also does is it creates this shared language within a company. The third thing is it shows the employees a sense of care, that leadership cares about them and their personal lives. Your employees are going to be going through divorces, or having sick parents, or navigating financial struggles. That is already happening. So if you can preemptively show them that you care, show them that you're meeting them there, creating an environment where it's a safe space to talk about that you're navigating this, and it may be affecting your focus, then it creates this completely different environment of support.
Amazing. So I know you said you worked with corporations and then school districts, and then you have different other business owners such as CPAs.
Yeah.
How does your business model work for those 3 different industries? Is it similar, or how would you approach it?
Good question. For the most part, it's very similar, because it's just run like a professional development training class. The structure may vary a little bit. Our typical structure is like a 10-week class, a 1 hour, once a week class for 10 weeks. But we've done half-day trainings, we've done, conferences. There's a lot of way to structure the content depending on what framework they're looking for, and kind of time they have to dedicate to it.
So when you go, talk to the leadership team at a company and you present what Flourish does, what's their first reaction to you just telling them that they should care about their employees' personal lives and their ability to
Ooh,
life skills?
good question. It has run the entire gamut. It's probably more accepted and talked about now than it was when I very first started in 2020. There is this continuum of leadership that runs from, kind of more of a butts and seats and leave your personal life at home and just come in and do the job, to we want to create a culture where you can be an entire person. We want to support that entire person. We want to create an environment where we're acknowledging the hardships in our lives, and a space where we're accepting and acknowledging that it can affect the other kind of buckets of our life. So some leadership was all in and thought it was very interesting. A lot of reaction I get is they've never heard of it before, because all of the PD has typically been, even in like education, even in school districts, all the professional development has been how to teach English, and we need all of that, but not what are the life skills that we can actually learn, model, and then teach our kiddos in the classroom.
What would you consider life skills to be?
Well, I can we hit what I know now. I didn't know the term then, but what Gallup, for instance, calls the key areas of well-being. So what Flourish talks about then let me give you a little guidance of a little view into the structure of Flourish. So it's 8 steps, 8 modules, 8, I needed 6, 8 modules, and it starts out with we've got to start from the very beginning with a shift of perspective on hardships in general, understanding that we shouldn't be afraid of them, that they are invitations on into our next step and our next journey and growth, and you can't get to wisdom and maturity and strength without walking through them. So first, shifting your perspective on hardship. Second is owning your agency. You can't blame anybody else for exactly where your life is but yourself. So with that, and the other side of that coin is you have the key. Like, you can actually do something about it. So we talk a lot about navigating fear and how to get yourself to navigate fear, transition, and what are the steps along the way in any transition. The third one we call imagination. Another word for that is just vision. This really powerful piece to building anything that begins in your imagination. You have to see it. You have to believe that it's available to you in order to get yourself there. And that's true on both a personal level and with your teams. Third is mindset, or fourth is mindset. And that one, in this one, we not only hit growth versus fixed, but we hit becoming aware of your thoughts, mindsets that stunt resilience, mindsets that move resilience forward. And then fifth is systems. And this is all about setting up your systems to get you those results. So not only habit formation and pulling from, the work of James Clear and Atomic Habits, but also this very important role that your own self-identity plays in your success in new habit formation. And then from there, we take that structure. So we're walking them through this new mindset training and shifting their mindset in a lot of these different ways. And then we apply it to the key areas of well-being. So next is what we call equilibrium, and that's our physical health. And we don't just hit diet and exercise like it used to be, but we do cognitive health, breath work, gut health, and sleep and rest. And then we move into relationships, which I am very passionate about. And what does a healthy relationship look like? How do you build those both with yourself, in your most intimate relationships, and also in a work environment? What does a boss who is not a dictator but has moved more into a coach role look like? Do you have a best friend at work? All of this new research is really powerful if a lot of the leadership can be acknowledging it and talking about it. And then finally is our finance bucket. So we hit financial well-being, career, and you know about this line, career well-being, and ultimately purpose.
Amazing. So can anyone sign up to take your masterclass, or is it only offered for companies?
Right now, well, actually, that's not true. I do individual coaching, but the majority of it is, and then we have other coaches that run under the Flourish brand. So yes, you can, if this is something that you wanted to do, you can hire a personal coach, but the vast majority of what we do is offered in a group setting, in a corporate setting, or like I said, we've really pushed into new markets, for instance, hospitality with bartenders and servers, and they're not, it's not a usual market that people think of professional development, at least in this capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been very rewarding to see the impact of this type of education in that type of environment.
Amazing. What, so can we talk about like challenges and solutions?
Yeah.
What challenges have you faced in implementing your strategies?
The business strategies, like my business approach, is that what you mean? Um, time, resources, as you know, but your listeners might not know, I am a single mother of 4 beautiful, amazing children.
Yes, they are.
But
Very pretty and
yeah,
gorgeous.
thank you. But with that, there's only so much bandwidth that I have in running a home and running children and work and friends and all of that. So I would honestly say, and a lot of entrepreneurship is testing, like it's just testing, trying something, and a lot of it doesn't work, and not getting I was gonna say frustrated, but it's not even frustrated. It's not getting discouraged. It's staying curious. It's staying curious. It's not getting disappointed. You're curious because you believe that if one door closes, and say you've been really working on this prospect and you don't get it, you stay curious. You get curious about why that was. Where do you have holes? How are they better than you? You get curious about, now that I'm not doing that, what am I doing? What opportunity does that give me to open up time and perhaps a different venture? So I think that's the biggest challenge, and also the biggest answer to that challenge.
How do you differentiate yourself from other competitors that might be in the same space? I know your company is very unique, and this is a new way of doing, helping companies with life skills and employees. But
Yeah.
how would you differentiate your business?
We're in it. We really care about the individuals that are in there. Our content is unapologetically focused on the individual growth of each of the participants to lead to an overall increase of the whole. But we're not coming in, like, we're not doing sales training. We're not coming in, the typical way that companies have used professional development to increase their profitability has been some sort of, how can we have better processes? How can we get our sales reps to sell more? And this one is very much focused on the well-being of the individuals within the company, and setting this culture and shared language that really changes, it changes the company.
So that's interesting. So I kind of want to go back to, like, do you see any trends with employee engagement and profitability solutions? So if you're fixing employee engagement, or maybe helping them address some growth issues, can you measure the ability to help, the bottom line at the company in terms of their profitability?
We can, for sure. We work with HR to measure, pre, mid, and post. We have a survey that will do pre, mid, and post. We also gather metrics such as absenteeism, of course, like profitability and productivity. And we take those measurements prior to the course and after the course. And we really, on the front end, we meet with the management team to make sure their initiatives and what they're really hiring us for is going to be in line with what we're offering. There's something else that you asked too. Oh, so there's this really amazing book. I recommend it to anyone in leadership in any corporation of your listeners, and it's called Wellbeing Network, and Gallup put it out. And why it's so revolutionary really is that the vast amount of data they gathered on what increases well-being and what creates this environment in the corporate setting of a greater well-being. And what they found, among many things, is that in a person's own happiness career, like, and think, go back to those buckets of your buckets of life. Career well-being is the most impactful connection to how happy a person feels about their
Well,
life. Whether they're engaged to take that step down, like what leads to career well-being, what leads to them being happy in their work, what leads to it the most is whether or not they're engaged, whether they feel like they're being seen, their work is being acknowledged, they can speak up, they like what they're doing, they want to go to work every day. So what is the thing that leads to that engagement more than any other metric? Development education. So that's why we have come in and started, if you want to like have a big goal of making everyone happier through this life and more able to navigate the challenges, that's why we started here, because if
okay.
you kind of plot that out, it can make the most impact.
Amazing. So do you plan on scaling this model at all?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. There's, especially with this, since this is my first professional development company or learning and development company, it was all new. So I have tried so many different structures. And because, like, to your point of your question earlier, how does this work with both, like the teachers, with CPA firms, even with the restaurant industry? Because not only it's the environment is different, right? But it does. But because of that, on the other side of that coin, like, one, it can apply to everyone. The other side of that coin is it can apply to everyone. So has been challenging to decide which way we were going to take it, and so we've tried a lot of different ways to take it, actually.
I can't wait to see what happens. I know that it's something that's needed, and I would think that even like high school kids could really benefit from this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I kind of want to switch gears over to the travel industry because that's one of your main passions and where you first started, and talk to you about now that we're out of COVID,
Yeah.
knock on wood. But how does the travel industry work? You do luxury travel, and so we're totally switching gears here. But again, it goes back to your entrepreneurial spirit,
Yes.
and a lot of people that are listening are entrepreneurs or business owners. So
So
want to.
Mm-hmm. In a completely different vein, my mother has been a luxury travel agent. She had a travel agency when I was growing up, so I always have been around it. She is an incredible expert in not just the travel market, but the luxury travel market. There's always been a conversation of us partnering in this, and as I've told you before, there was a time that I was in the travel industry prior to launching Flourish. So last summer, we decided to make that official, and we co-founded a company called Esoterra Travel, where we have partnered and are now we do it together. And really, like, she's the expert, and I'm just trying to learn everything that I can learn from her in this space. So with that, our clients are primarily the luxury market. We work under an amazing kind of host agency called Cadence Travel out of La Jolla. And yeah, so right now I'm doing both Flourish and Esoteric Travel.
I like it. I love traveling. So,
Yeah, it's fun.
based on your experience with this, what would you say are the most popular destinations?
Yeah. Going back a minute to your question, yes, we are out of COVID now, and travel has come back with a vengeance. Like, it's amazing to see. It's amazing to see, especially like this specific industry and their specific resilience in making it through that really challenging time. But they are back, and they are back strong, and it's really fun to see. With that, we're crazy busy. If every travel advisor I know is pretty much having the same thing right now. Where are people going? Honestly, the world has gotten so small. Where we're seeing they're going everywhere, to answer your question. But where we see a lot of travel is, of course, still Europe and France, although France this summer, everyone's staying out of Paris, but there's still a lot of people um, traveling all over France, both in, the Provence and more the villages, as well as the coastline. They're going to Italy still and the Amalfi Coast, but they're also going places like Puglia, which is on the other side of Italy. We're seeing a lot of like Budapest to Prague.
Oh,
There's
interesting.
some full river cruises in there that help you get to see, make the stops along the way. It doesn't start exactly in Prague, but kind of that route. I mean, everywhere from Berlin. If we're going in a different part of the world, we're seeing quite a few in the like Galapagos Islands. There's been people who are really enjoying that because it's so unique. A lot of Japan. Japan is really, really busy right now. So if you're thinking of going to Japan, you gotta
Mm.
book it early. But I haven't been, but I hear it's really fascinating. And then, of course, still Asia and Vietnam and Cambodia, and then down into New Zealand and Australia. There's a lot of cruising, I think, that happens there. So that way, again, people can kind of see different parts of the coastline.
Okay. So why would someone hire a travel advisor,
Good
agent, and
question.
instead of just booking it themselves online?
Good question. Okay, so if you're a travel advisor, sorry, I'm getting bombarded here. If you are a travel advisor, then we have specific relationships with partners in the industry, particularly like high-end hotels and tour companies and cruise lines that if you book through us, you get access to these extra amenities. So the pricing is going to be the same. It's not like that connection will necessarily save you money, but it will give you extra amenities. What will save you money is the expertise of the travel advisor in knowing what route to take and what airline to take and where you should stay and what hotel to recommend. Um, and the other really important thing that I don't think people know about booking with a travel advisor, because I do think that that's unless you're doing it, you don't really understand that we get paid through our partnerships with the vendors.
Oh,
So it doesn't cost you for the most part. There's like a consultation fee in the beginning, but for the most part, it doesn't cost the traveler any more money. And now they have someone who's completely advising on where they should go, then building their itinerary, then managing, then VIPing them when they get to the hotel. So the property knows they're coming. We can do tours for you. We do, then ultra luxury options between, from private jets to private fast track services through customs to all the transfers, like I said, all the touring, so we can get that full customized itinerary all set for you. Then we send you that itinerary so you can just show up and you have the itinerary on your app and everyone knows you're coming and we've already organized the transfers and you can just enjoy your trip.
amazing. I didn't know that. So I didn't know that
Yeah.
we don't pay you directly.
No, not
Interesting.
for the most part. Like like I said, there's a couple small consultation fees, but for the most part, the bulk of what we get paid comes from our commissions from our partners.
I love this.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do this next time I go
Yes.
somewhere. I want to go to Europe. Okay, so like so this again is another entrepreneurial thing. You have to get clients. How do you find clients?
So I am in a unique situation that I fully acknowledge. That is different than had I just launched my own. I've become a luxury travel advisor on my own because I work with my mother. She already has this vast bulk of clients that are incredible and longstanding relationships, and I was able to just walk into that and support her and her clients. Most of our clients, I mean, it continues to grow every day. We have new requests and new clients come in, and all of them are word of mouth. All of them are someone has used our services before, and they tell a friend, and then that friend does, and then that family member does, and so we have a lot of clients that are big groups of friends or family, and that person then sends someone to that person, and all of our growth has really been just internal word of mouth.
Amazing. Um, I mean, it sounds that like most people don't realize that, if they hire a travel agent, they can get these perks and how the
Yeah,
booking of the hotels work and the flights and then whatever else the hotel is trying to promote, or if you're going on a certain tour, I guess, whatever they're trying to promote.
sure.
So that's great. And I like that it's a family business and
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
really cool. Yeah. How does your mom feel about you working with her?
Loves it. And I love it too. One, just for the extra support. Like she's so busy. But it's fun, it's really fun. My mom and I have an incredible relationship anyway, and a close relationship anyway. So it's been, in fact, my stepdad was laughing the other day because it was like a Friday night or something. I went over and was hanging out for a little bit, and he literally turned to both of us and like, don't you guys get tired of each other? Because we're together all week and then we're together, on the weekend. And no, she's incredible. She's an incredible person to learn from, to work under, to partner with. She's so level and so smart and really, really good at what she does. So it's a complete gift to be able to learn from her.
So neat. So neat. So have you applied any of the skills from your masterclass at Flourish to this travel business?
Yeah, that is a really, really great question. Absolutely. Not only in our interactions just with clients during, maybe some things that didn't quite go, not our own fault, but it's travel, right? There's something that's going to be delayed or something like that. But I think even more than that is I see more and more this overlap between luxury travel and professional development, whether it's, executive retreats. I know that there's some of that going on right now. And so really in the pipeline for us is to merge the two and create this environment where busy executives can go, like those are who our clients are anyway, but then creating this professional development situation where they can step away. And then now you have the Flourish content that's really focused on individual growth and mindset training. And it's not bad to do it like in the luxury villa in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And so that's where I really see the two coming together in the future. And they're not so different. I think if you're a curious person and you naturally seek your own personal development, then you have a natural curiosity about the world, and that each location is so magical on its own, and it's so different between the cultures and the geography and the government and the history. And so that natural interest in seeking to grow and seeking to learn is the same natural interest that makes travel so amazing, and that you can learn equally from both.
I agree. Wow. How exciting. So this has been fun.
Yeah.
Do you want to say anything else?
No, this is great. Thank you. Thanks for having me, and all great questions.
I know, and I can't wait to learn more. I want to take the Flourish Master class. We'll have to talk after I do it. So
we will.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a good rest of the day, everybody.
Thank you.
I haven't done this live before, so not sure how we exit, but
it's okay. We'll say goodbye, and then I'll close it, and then I'll try to save it. Bye, everyone.
If you've enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to the Business Talk podcast and leaving us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us grow and improve. Thank you for joining us today. This has been another episode of Business Talk with Megan McNulty.